Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Took me a minute to get in here and get everything. What am I joking? I was trying to get my coffee ready. Just a slight bit behind the power curve. It's all good. Looks like the only thing getting in our way today is the weather. And by we, I mean everybody else on the east of Omaha, it looks like, because out here, it's pretty much clear as a bell, except for the Pacific Northwest, where it's, guess what, raining. Yeah, a really slow news day. The Oscars seem to be the main topic everywhere, so we're not talking about that. And I'm going to go with the weather. The forecast out east is especially doomy, I guess you would say. Looks like a shot of snow. They're going to bring in some more on the backside of that storm, it looks like. Maybe through back up north again. Let me get my other stuff situated. See if I can check out the chat room. Good morning, M. Long, out there in the great state of Kentucky. Good morning, M. Long, out there in the state of Kentucky. All right. Everything 5x5 on your end? The Weather Channel doesn't want to load here, but other than that, I seem to be getting through. Unscathed. So you're probably getting rain, snow, mix up there in your area. Light snow, yeah. I hate automatic ad plays. Calm down there. All right. Well, you're going to be in the thick of it there where you're at, M. Long, because looks like they're definitely bringing the heat with this wet weather you got coming again. I guess it's colder, so it's not the heat, but you know what I'm saying. So that's tonight. It's going to be past you by tonight, it looks like. You got your bad part. Up in the Northeast, I don't know if I have anybody that even watches my channel in this swath, pretty much from Rochester down to Norfolk. I don't know. Well, we got Delaware Patriot in Delaware, stuck out there in no man's land. He checks in with us every now and then. Which reminds me, while we're talking about Delaware Patriot, if you're watching this, check out the cards, the top right corner of your screen and the little eye icon. Several recommended channels to go check out in your viewing pleasure on the YouTube, and Delaware Patriot as well, as out there alone and unafraid in the East Coast seaboard with not much backup, doesn't seem like. And then more possible snow on the East Coast, so you guys have fun. We really need some water out here, and you can tell by this jet stream, we ain't getting none. They're calling for highs of like 63 on Wednesday or something like that. Outrageous. And more weather on all up and down the East Coast. This is mostly the East Coast. There you go, M. Long, rain on Thursday. You're right in the middle of it, literally. But I did see that oil had moved down, kicking over the economic side due to U.S. output. So that is, yeah, when we see a dip back around 60, we'll be a little more upbeat about that. But for right now, it's just their supposition, I think. We'll see how far back down we can get oil prices. Commodities are down. We're almost pushing 2.7 on the 10-year. There's those interest rates you got to watch out for. $26,587. I didn't. This was concerning. I saw this last night. It's good they kept this up on the front burner. Talk about nationalizing a 5G network. Over concerns of China. Always got to have a bad guy to allow you to give them control of something. So what would a national 5G network really mean? A lot of people are very wary of the 5G thing due to some concerns of the health and otherwise. Also, the overarching ability to get into your business using a 5G network. But it looks like the biggest thing about this is they're concerned about China. So using your fear of China to justify them controlling all 5G bandwidth is going to be the big push, it looks like. I think the biggest thing we can learn from that is everybody will have 5G, but it'll suck. And that will be the lesson learned out of that. The alternative, wireless providers build their own 5G that would compete with one another. What an interesting idea. Now here it says, and I'll quote this verbatim, an alternative, according to Axios, is that the wireless providers in the US build their own 5G networks that would compete with one another. An option the document said could be costly and more time consuming, but would be less commercially disruptive to the industry. Has the US government ever done anything cheaper and less time consuming than anybody else? Is there an example? Postal Service? Pony Express was a privately funded operation back in the day. Kick it back out to the chat room. Looked like we had everybody invade us real quick. Good morning. Good morning. How's you a nugget? Good morning, Jay Grady. Thanks for joining us. All right, everybody. Welcome in the chat room there. We just hit weather early on. We're going into this story about the 5G network, which, depending on where you look, is considered an extension of the mark of the beast, but we won't get into that too much. But the government claiming they can do it cheaper and more more efficiently than private providers is very laughable. But the concern they're putting out there is that if we nationalize it, it'll be more secure from Chinese interference, I think. It says here, we want to build a network so the Chinese can't listen to your calls. So it's okay if the NSA listens to your calls, but we don't want the Chinese listening to your calls because the Chinese have a very big effect on your life day to day. Just throwing that out there. Who's data logging every single internet transaction? Maybe the Chinese and the NSA, maybe both. FCC chairman opposes the proposal for the federal government to build and operate a nationwide 5G network. Hey, now I almost like somebody. That's good. Any federal effort to construct a nationalized 5G network would be a costly and counterproductive distraction from the policies we need. Agreed. I still haven't figured out why we need 5G. I barely figured out how well 4G worked. Yeah, Wes, I'm sure oil prices really affect where you're at. No doubt that you need a certain level of price to justify the prices in America. No doubt. That goes with pretty much from Texas to North Dakota on all that. Without price justification, they're going to have a hard time keeping a lot of jobs or people working. Back out of here again. Consumers are spending more money. There's an inflationary sign for you. How much his consumer debt went down? Anybody? I wonder if it tells us in this article. Personal income up, 0.3 increase expected. Yada, yada, yada. Did anybody spend down consumer debt? Because government spending went up last quarter too, if we go by that standard. Adjusted for inflation, yada, yada. Smoke and mirrors. Consumer spending accelerated at a 3.8% annualized rate. GDP increased 3.2%. Savings rate dropped. That's a bad sign. Lowest level since September 2005. Monthly inflation ticked up. Indeed. And if you included everything instead of the CPI stuff, it'd be even more higher. Core PC has missed the feds. The feds are begging for inflation. They're going to get smacked upside the head. Smacked upside the head with it. Nothing about people's debt. We would have to compare to really see if that's important. Rates are shooting higher. We talked about the 10-year yield here earlier. It's highest in nearly 4 years. How high can it go before it really gets in people's way? That's the big test. When will people stop buying houses because the interest rates are too high? And all you're going to see this week, you're probably going to see this picture right here 50 times this week on different channels, different websites. That's all we'll be talking about probably. This was something that came up over the weekend. There's been floating the idea of a gas tax to support Trump's proposed infrastructure plan, government spending. So we just cut taxes, but we think we can spend more. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. Well, it shouldn't work like that. It always works like that in DC, apparently. You had Rand Paul propose a bill to take away foreign aid so we could actually do some infrastructure. Nobody liked that. They just want to make it up out of thin air. They want to have their pet projects. They want to pay off their buddies. They want to grease the skids of some of the politicians of the country. So we're still going to get an infrastructure plan somehow with money that doesn't exist. Unless they raise your gas tax by 25 cents, 5 cents a year for 5 years. Oh my goodness. That won't help oil patch jobs there, Wes S. You know that. You tax something, you want less of it. You want less gas in the market, tax it. That'll work. You use as much gas, tax it. That'll work. Looks like most Republicans' senior leadership is against raising the gas tax, which means they'll probably do it. And they've already had a proposal on how to jumpstart investment and have an infrastructure plan, and they shot that down because they didn't like the politics of it. They consider the tax simple and fair and the most effective way to raise money. That's what the Chamber of Commerce president's saying. There's some hacks for you. So the government wants to make more money off the gas you buy than the oil company that produced it, is what they're saying. Lots of people coming out against it, though. Hopefully some common sense prevails on this issue. They've already had a proposed infrastructure plan. Maybe they should revisit that, take away money from Pakistan and pretty much all the other foreign countries, and we can be good. Right? Let me bounce over. I didn't really see anything in the various news links here, except for nobody watched the Grammys, which is good. But I did spot this article. Somebody is going to go with basic income, and Stockton, which is pretty much an armpit, is going to toy with this idea before they go bankrupt, I guess, or before they make everybody bankrupt and leave town, and then they'll be more worse off than they already are. So in that whole idea that things that start in California spread elsewhere, the idea that you have universal income, everybody will get $500 a month, no strings attached, is what they say down here. That's going to, okay. First, we'll start off and make sure everybody's clear on where this is. And they describe it up here in the, I don't know, I never considered Stockton Bay Area, but I guess for the basis of this, and probably economic wise, it's probably very similar. But Stockton is one of the many Bay Area cities on the fringe of the wealth accumulating Silicon Valley and San Francisco. The Central Valley city went bankrupt in 2012. What are the odds? And for decades, it has been trying to diversify its agricultural-based economy. Don't try to grow your agriculture-based economy, diversify it. He feels that it's his responsibility as mayor to begin figuring out what's the best way to make sure that folks in our community have an economic floor. Whatever that means. Whatever economic floor means. Can anybody? I never heard of such a thing. Hey, out there in chat. Good morning, Barry Wood. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I won't comment on whether I think that the Grammys too much, other than don't watch. So they're trying to say $500 a month near the Bay Area, near Silicon Valley, is an economic floor. So all the other government subsidized stuff these people get if they need it, plus $500, and not just $500 for the people that really need it, but $500 for everybody. I mean, how are people so stupid? They don't know how economics works. Anyway, it's laughable. I guess the whole idea of raising the California minimum wage wasn't enough, so they got to get $500 a month they don't have for everybody. Oh wait, oh it's a test. For 1 year, several dozen Stockton families will get $500 a month. So it's a test run, several dozen. How do you get to volunteer for that job? So for 1 year, you get $500 a month more than everybody else. Well, of course you're going to do pretty good. You're getting an economic advantage over everybody else. Yeah, M long. I know ammo's expensive. It won't support my bad habits either, right? Universal UBI is the abbreviation they use here for Universal Basic Income. Hopes to demonstrate UBI's potential and encourage other places to give it a try, so we don't look as stupid as by doing it by ourselves. Holy cow, people! This is today's sign of the apocalypse. Just do the math on it. Okay, $500 for everybody. Do the math at everybody in Stockton, and figure out a better way to fix your government services in Stockton. Might be the way to go with that. Just throwing that out there, Mayor of Stockton, who doesn't know what his job is. All right, maybe just reduce taxes $500 worth on everybody. Reduce property tax. Turn the property to the people. See what happens then. There's a State of the Union this week. I'm sure there'll be lots of good news that comes out of that. Smoking Locust, how you doing? Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, follow Rome Stove Film Long. Yeah, it's all going that direction, isn't it? Right. So yeah, the State of the Union this week could be interesting for lots of talking points and quotes, I'm sure. Maybe some good tweets. Now, we had the best states everybody loved to live in last week. Here's an article saying Florida is the worst state in every way. It's a Miami article, which I don't know. Anybody would think that Florida's the worst in every way. Can Angel get in here and defend them a little bit? Um, I don't think Florida's the worst in every way. I've been to California. I know better. I've been to the Midwest. Florida ranks dead last when it comes to ranking the best states in the nation. This don't make sense, and no matter how you look at it, Florida ranks dead last when it comes to rating the best states in the nation. Yet Michigan ranks number one. What are their criteria? Now, granted, if it wasn't for Detroit, Michigan would probably be all right. The UP's great, all that good stuff. This is from Thrillist. They made this ranking apparently based on everything. I don't know how you base it on everything because that's pretty much infinity. But contributions to America, like inventions, food, and drink, somewhat productive, famous people, and unique physical beauty, among other things. Wow. Somehow Florida ended up number last in their ranking. That's just, man, I hate to hear that. Is there the rest of the states ranked in this thing? Everybody in Florida is obviously going to fight back against that. So fortunately, it's subjective and not based on reality. But the best states, good news for you, M. Long. Just under Michigan at number one was Maine, Kentucky, Wisconsin, and Louisiana. I would never want to go to Louisiana. Myself, Kentucky's nice, Maine's nice. Joining Florida in the bottom, though, this is laughable. Delaware, Ohio, Arizona, Utah, and Mississippi. Have they been to Utah? But they're going off the contributions, like it said at the beginning, to the country. So there's a little bit of time factor there in population base to go off to deceive the numbers. So it's a kind of a humorous article, so tongue in cheek, more so than serious, I would say. Kid Rock being one of the contributions they're attributing to Michigan. Okay, that's relatively funny. Let's don't take that too seriously. Oh, Smoking Locust, are you in Florida? You said good to keep the tourists out, or are you in one of those states in the bottom five there? Good morning, Rocky Wolf. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, M. Long, I said the same thing. Kentucky's a great state. Looks like a homeless man in San Diego got dumped in the trash truck, nearly crushed in garbage truck. Bad deal there. See if we can find anything other than anecdotal. There was an article earlier I saw about the concern for Turkey's invasion of Syria. Other countries were getting involved in public outcries and protests and stuff elsewhere in the world. Most Americans couldn't point to Turkey on a map. So we got about 5 minutes left here. Anybody out in the chat room got any comments, any local things they want to point out that may extend beyond your borders? Just to give all us a FYI of what we should be on the lookout for, like universal basic income. So the North Korea thing's up here in the top right corner, Wall Street Journal. I still am confused by these mixed messages we get from the news on North and South Korea when they're prepared to sing Kumbaya at the Olympics, but yet they're still throwing them under the bus and all the other major media. Winter maneuvers are less extensive than in previous years. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the Olympics. I mean, if the Olympics are next door to me, I'm dialing back military exercises too. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But last week, if you missed it, North and South Korea will march in at the Olympics, at least as the last I heard, together under one flag. And China agreed to a peaceful unification of the two Koreas in principle. So, hey, everybody calm down. Maybe we can make this happen. It would be a good thing. Slow and cold where you are. Fishing's good in Kentucky. Wes says, I'm assuming a B1 drill is some sort of oil producing, oil getting rig of some sort. Because I don't know what a B1 drill is otherwise. All right, folks, we'll pretty much close it up with that. Everybody on the East Coast, get ready for your weather. Looks like it's coming down pretty hard this week for you throughout the week as well, little by little. So y'all stay dry out there. We're going to be hot and dry here. I mean, when I say hot, that's relative. I mean, 63 is a high in January here. February is brutally hot. Trust me, I was in short sleeves yesterday out and about, and it was just, it's sad. It feels like I should start planting stuff already. But of course, I know better. We'll get a shot in the arm at some point of some more cold. But man, it's depressing how bad the winter's been out here. Tony, you're home early today? What are you doing checking in? You went to the work and they kicked you out already? There's no rain down there, Tony. You got no roofs to fix anymore. You got it all done. Good job. Hey, everybody have a great day. Indeed. Tactical Outdoors, Smoking Locust, Tactical Tony, Wes S., Barry Wood, M. Long, Rocky Wolf, and I think I got everybody. Thanks for coming out. Make sure you check out those channels up in the right top corner under the cards tab there in the eye to check out some more YouTube good channels. Y'all have a good day. Live free.